If you have been sensing that something massive is stirring just beneath the surface, you are right. Today, we are going to explore one of the most powerful astrological cycles of our lifetime. Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries. Whether you are an artist, a healer, or a truth seeker, this is your sacred roadmap from dream to embodiment. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Conscious Café Astrology. I am Genevieve, and I'm so glad you are here. This is a space where celestial movement becomes soul language, and the ancient rhythms of cosmos reconnect with us to our inner truth. Today we begin one of the most significant episodes I have ever shared. We are entering the age of Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries, a very potent astrological alignment that hasn't occurred in the sign for centuries. This rare cycle runs from May 26, 2025 to April 14, 28. And I want you to understand not just what is going to happen, but what it means for your soul, your dreams, your calling, and your path. As you can see here in the screen, that Saturn ingress into Aries on May 24th, but he is going back into Pisces in August 31st. He will re-enter Aries for one final time next year in February and move on to Taurus in April 2028. While Neptune, he ingressed into Aries on March 30th this year and retrograde back to Pisces in October, joining Saturn one more time. And he will re-enter Aries in next year, January 26th, and stay in Aries until 2040. So let us take this slowly. Let's ground into what this truly means. This isn't just astrology. We are talking about the myth of time writing itself through us. The essence of this transit, in ancient mythology, Saturn was Kronos, the ruler of time. He was stern, wise, a bringer of order. He governed limits, laws, karma as we know it. But he also brings form. While Neptune, known as Poseidon in the Greek mythology, he is the god of oceans and dreams. He rules the vast unknown, the realm of mysticism, illusion, compassion, and transcendence. When these two planets meet, it is like the builder walks into the temple of the divine, or a dreamer is asked to draw up blueprints. Saturn is the bone, while Neptune is the breath. Saturn is the temple, with Neptune is the incense. And they converge, our deepest longings, our Neptunian ideas, meet the structure and challenge of Saturn's reality. This happens only once every 36 to 37 years. The last time was in 1989 to 1990 in the sign of Capricorn. That was the era of the Berlin Wall falling, the dissolution of the Soviet Union, massive changes to global structures. But this time, this sacred meeting occurred at 0° in Aries. And Aries, dear one, is not just another sign. Aries is the spark of life itself, the first breath, the first house, the original flame. This meeting in Aries at the end of May and once again at 0° next year in February 19 is more than rare. It is an initiation, a cosmic reset, and a new myth begins seeding. I would like to bring us to look back in time when Saturn and Neptune through the ages. Let's breathe into the pattern. What happened when Saturn traveled through Aries? In 1937 to the 40s, we had World War II, and in 67 to 69, we have the Vietnam War, youth protest, and revolution. Meanwhile, last time, in 96 to 99, Clinton's re-election and impeachment, the Kosovo War, and the invention of the first camera phone. With Neptune in Aries, it is a true rarity. In 1534 to 37, King Henry VIII breaks from the Catholic Church, the creation of the Church of England, a complete spiritual reset. And on 1861 to 65, we have the American Civil War, another rupture, a new order rising from the deep division. So now I ask you, what must be broken away from in your own life? What inner war are you ready to end? And what new covenant are you being asked to make with your soul? There are several important dates and portals we should look at. These moments are so charged and sacred. Next year, in February 17, a new moon eclipse at 28° Aries. This will bring a collective activation, new tribes, and new revolutions. And just a few days later, from 19 to 20 in February, Saturn going to meet Neptune at 0° in Aries. This is a cosmic genesis. A few months later in April, from the 13th to the 20th, a week of powerful activations. Because on the 13th, Mars conjunct Neptune in Aries. Meanwhile, the 17th, Mercury conjunct Neptune. And on the 20th, Mercury conjunct Saturn and Mars conjunct Saturn as well. This is a time to watch for clarity, truth, courage, and inspired action. If Mercury is the messenger and Mars the warrior, then the cosmos is calling both to attention. I invite you to write down your dreams, to speak your truth, and make your move. What Saturn teach Neptune actually? Bringing spirit into form. With Neptune, he wants us to dream, to dissolve boundaries, to believe in magic, connection, and grace. But without Saturn, those dreams float away. They remain visions, never lived. So with Saturn, he teaches Neptune how to build a vision, to walk the mystic path, with steady feet. This is when a poet gets published, a healer opens her practice, a visionary builds a home, or a mystic creates a substantiable life. This is especially powerful for creators, artists, dancers, musicians, filmmakers, and spiritual practitioners. Those who walk with spirit every day. Ask, what dreams has been hovering like mist around me, waiting to be made real? Now is your window. Because we have already learned the lesson with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, with their transition wisdom they have been teaching us. Both Saturn and Neptune begin their mystic dance in Aries. They have spent significant time in Pisces, a sign of endings, surrender, and transcendence. We cannot fully embody a new beginning without bowing to what comes before us. Let us reflect. Neptune entered Pisces in 2011. Think back. Since then, we have been immersed in the collective dreamscape, experiencing waves of heightened spirituality, escapism, confusion, and compassion as well. Neptune in Pisces taught us to dissolve false boundaries, to feel the suffering of the collectives, and to surrender to higher wisdom. During those years, we have seen a rise in mysticisms and energy healing, the blending of spiritual traditions, escapist coping mechanisms like addiction, disinformation, and digital fantasy. Since March 2023, when Saturn entered Pisces, this marked a sobering of the Neptunian mist. Saturn brought structure to the spiritual. He asked, can your ideas stand in the material world? He tests our emotional boundaries, our faith, and our ability to bring our creativity and intuition into practical form. So we have been learning to turn dreams into discipline, to take emotional and spiritual maturity seriously, and to heal disillusionment and integrate the sacred with the ordinary. With Saturn and Neptune together in Pisces, they have taught us compassion without boundaries only leads to depletion. Mysticisms without embodiment is escapism. And the endings are sacred preparation for beginnings. Now, as they both rise on the horizon of Aries, they bring those lessons forward. We are not starting from nothing. We are starting from very deep lessons. We are invited to act on our soul wisdom, to carry our mystical insight not as our weak ideas, but as forged tools. Stay with me, or skip ahead to your sign, or someone you love. I invite you to listen to both your ascendant, sun and moon signs to have a more complete pictures. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will be sharing more episodes on how Neptune and Saturn work through each of the 12 houses in the next few weeks. Remember, you are living in mystic time, and Saturn and Neptune are writing a new chapter. Dear Aries, this is the initiate crown, claiming your fire. This is your transit. Saturn and Neptune are meeting in your first house of identity, visibility, and selfhood. The cosmos is looking you directly in the eyes and saying, "Who are you now? Who are you becoming?" Let's begin with myth. Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war. But before he called to battle, Mars stood as the symbol of courage, of primal will, the energy that says, "I exist." When Saturn enters your sign in May 2025, it is like Kronos placing a hand on your shoulder. You are no longer a child of impulse. He says, you are ready to lead. Saturn will test your integrity, discipline, and authenticity. It may feel like slowing down, but this is divine pacing, the solidifying of your own fire. At the same time, Neptune, our cosmic mystic, he is whispering dreams through fog. He says, remember why you come here. For many Aries, this can be a season of identity healing, soul reclamation, or even spiritual emergence. You might feel an invisible veil lifting. Old ways of being will dissolve, masks fall, and your true self, the raw, inspired, and sovereign being, to form. Please, watching out for a redefining of personal image or public role. The desire to bring spiritual or creative purpose into your body, your voice, or leadership. The deep intuitive downloads, especially around February to April next year. The sacred practices for you is to keep a dream journal. These years are rich with symbolic messages. Embark on body-based ritual like yoga, martial arts, or sacred movements. Please ask, what am I being called to embody, not just to believe, but live? By 2028, Aries, you won't just be a new version of yourself. You will be the dream you once dared to envision. Dear Taurus, that is the quiet clearing, the surrendering to the sacred unseen. This transit invites you to go inward, into the hush of your own psyche. Saturn and Neptune will journey through your 12th house, the most mysterious, unseen, and spiritual potent area of your chart. Let's root this into mythology. The 12th house is the temple of endings, dreams, and the soul's longing for unity. It governs retreat, surrender, divine memory. And here, Saturn becomes the wise hermit, Neptune, the veil-lifting mystic. Saturn entering your 12th in May 2025 may feel like a sacred slowing down. You are being asked to let go, to complete karmic cycles. It is a time to confront what you may have pushed aside, such as grief, avoidance, or hidden longing. With Neptune here amplifies the mystical, your dreams may become prophetic. Your connection to the invisible will deepen, but without grounding, it may also bring confusion, escapism, or emotional overwhelm. Pay attention to a call to spiritual study, healing, or solitude. A strong desire to clear your physical or emotional space, or a profound intuitive insight, often unspoken, that change your direction. The sacred practice for you is to create a spiritual sanctuary in your home, to develop a meditation or a dream work practice, and to begin of letting go ritual of old possessions, past roles, expired identities. My dear Taurus, these 3 years are not about pushing forward. They are about dissolving what no longer serves. By the time Saturn crosses your ascendant in 2028, you will be reborn with a lighter heart, clear vision, and a more authentic sense of inner peace. Dear Gemini, this is the cycle of voices, manifesting the dream through others. With Saturn and Neptune conjunction unfold in your 11th house, the realm of community, future vision, and sacred friendship. For you, Gemini, this marks a shift from broadcasting ideas to cultivating impact. Let us look at the mythology. The 11th house is ruled traditionally by Aquarius, associated with Prometheus, the Titan who stole fire from the gods to give to humanity. This is the house of visionary. And Gemini, your quicksilver mind finds fertile ground here. With Saturn in this domain since May, it will crystallize your ideas. You are being asked which visions are worth building, which friendship fit your spirit, and which no longer fit the dream. Saturn may trim the branches of your social life, but only to strengthen the roots. With Neptune, soften this discipline with inspiration. You may find yourself magnetized toward soul-aligned communities, artistic circles, or spiritual causes. There's potential to connect to others through shared dreams, to build something collectively sacred. Watch out for a desire to leave superficial networks and cultivate deeper circles. Projects that may merge technology, healing, or art with greater purpose. A growing sense of your role in the collective evolution. Some sacred practice for you to create a vision board for the future world you want to help birth. Volunteer or contribute your voice to a cause that stirs your soul. Host or join a regular circle, virtual or in person, based on the honest connection. Gemini, this is not the time to scatter your energy. It is the time to dream big and root these dreams in shared human longing. Your voice matters. Now is the time to use it with reverence. To the dear Cancer, the pillars of becoming, in building a life with meaning. This sacred conjunction arrives in your 10th house, the temple of legacy, purpose, and visibility. Both will illuminate the highest part of your chart, asking, what are you building in the eyes of the world? And what is it rooted in? The 10th house echoes the mountain climb of Saturn itself, who in mythology rule over time, responsibility, and destiny. It is here we meet our soul's work, our contribution, our dharma. With Neptune adds a veil of mystery, compassion, and imagination to that ascent. You might feel both magnetized by your purpose and mystified by it. The call may come through dreams, synchronicities, or soul deep longing. Saturn here is saying, no shortcuts, no illusion. You are becoming a vessel for sacred responsibility. This is a time when you may be asked to step into leadership, especially spiritual, emotional, or creative leadership. Watch out for recognitions or invitations that align with your truest values. The challenge of integrating vision with structure, or a sacred test of your ability to show up authentically in public spaces. Some sacred practices for you to redefine success. Write your own definition of achievement. Commit to one dream project that scares and excites you at the same time. Practice visibility. Speak, share, and let others see your soul-led work. Dear Cancer, through your natural instinct is to nurture and protect. This transit calls you to step up and be seen, not for ego, but for impact. What if your most private sensitivity is your greatest leadership gift? By 2028, you could be embodying a role that once felt out of reach. But now it fits like a soul robe, and you were already meant to wear. To the lovely Leo, this is the sacred flame, illuminating the path of wisdom. This cycle blesses your 9th house, the domain of higher truth, wisdom, travel, and belief. Saturn and Neptune arrive like twin initiators, calling you to grow beyond what you have known and step into a broader sacred worldview. The 9th house is associated with Jupiter, the expansive planet of seekers and sages. In myth, this is the domain of mentors, philosophers, pilgrims, and as the sun rules sign, you, my dear Leo, your inner fire now seeks higher ground. When Saturn entered this realm in May, He asks, what do you believe truly? And can it hold you steady through change? You may feel called to formal studies, long journeys, or to write, teach, or share your voice in a more serious way. Neptune here invites mystical revelation. Your faith might deepen. Your dreams might stretch across borders, physical, intellectual, and spiritual. But Neptune can also cloud the truth, with Saturn saying, seek wisdom that is tested, lived, and embodied. Please watch for a call to pursue a degree, publish a body of work, or study ancient teachings. Spiritual awakenings that ask to be integrated, not just chased. A tension between dogma and divine inspiration. Some practice for you. Read one sacred or philosophical text slowly, like a pilgrimage. To practice discernment, what belief systems feel aligned and which no longer fit. Write about your lived truth. Let your story become someone's lantern. Leo, you are a light bringer. This transit will scratch that light across oceans of wisdom and time. By the end of it, in 2028, your voice may carry the weight of a teacher, a guide, or a global storyteller. Dear Virgo, that is the deep ledger about healing power and sacred exchange. This cycle will unfold in your 8th house, the domain of transformation, intimacy, shared resources, and mysteries we cannot control. Saturn and Neptune will guide you through a sacred underworld, asking you to let go of control in order to gain true empowerment. The 8th house resonates with the story of Persephone, who was taken to the underworld and emerged as a queen. This house asks us to die to who we were in order to become who we are meant to be. Saturn here acts as the gatekeeper. He says, face your debts, emotional, karmic, and financial. Honor your contract. Own your energetic exchanges. You might have to get real about share money, inheritance, or long-standing entanglement. With Neptune, meanwhile, dissolve the walls you have built around vulnerability. He wants you to trust, not blindly, but wisely. You may be drawn to the occult, to energetic healing, or to exploring the unseen part of your psyche. Please watch for changes in financial ties regarding investment, debts, or shared income. A pull toward shadow work, therapy, or energy healing. It is a time of deepening your understanding of sexuality, power, and emotional truth. Some sacred practice for you to organize your finance with reverence. Make space for spiritual wealth. Journal your emotional patterns in intimate relationships, or to study sacred symbols, esoteric traditions that speak to your healing journey. My dear Virgo, this is a time of sacred accounting, not to punish, but to empower. By 2028, you may emerge with fewer burdens, greater trust, and the kind of soul strength that only comes from walking into the depths and finding your light in the darkness. My dear Libra, this is the mirror and the merge of redefining relationship. For you, this cycle stir your seventh house, the house of partnerships, sacred mirrors, and all one-to-one bonds. Saturn and Neptune, they ask, what does it mean to commit? And what does it mean to connect soul to soul? The seventh house is the domain of divine reflection. In myth, we think of Aphrodite and Psyche or Aries, lovers who faced trials that revealed the deeper truth of union. This is where we met the other, and through them come home to ourselves. Saturn here will bring definition. For some Libras, this might manifest as a long-term commitment, a contract, or a clear shift in how you relate to others. Relationships become real, the fluff dissolves. You will be called to honor boundaries, responsibilities, and truth. With Neptune's presence, invite spiritual love, but also illusions. There is a temptation to idealize, to project. Saturn helps keep your feet on the ground, while Neptune opens your heart to unconditional compassion. Looking for opportunities for commitment, collaboration, or sacred agreement. Test of clarity and communication in existing partnership, or a deep desire for soulful union, and a clear view of where fantasy clouds it. Sacred practices for you to write a relationship vision statement. What are you calling in during this time? Review your energetic contract. Where are you overgiving or under receiving? To practice sacred listening with a partner, a guide, or your own inner voice. Libra, this is not just about romance. It is about every place where you meet another and say, we. What kind of road are you building together? And does it honor who you are becoming? By 2028, your relationships might be fewer, but far more aligned with your soul. Dear Scorpio, this is the devotional path, the embodying service and sacred systems. This cycle activates your sixth house, the realm of daily ritual, sacred work, healing, and how you serve others. Saturn and Neptune will move through this area of your chart like a quiet devotion, asking you to refine your craft and spiritualize your service. The sixth house holds the archetype of the sacred servant, the priestess at the temple, the healer in quiet rooms, or the artisan at the loom. It is ruled by Mercury and traditionally linked to Virgo, earthy, exacting, pure in its devotion to the details that sustain life. When Saturn arrived here, you are asked to take full responsibility for your work and your wellness. This might involve refining your daily schedule, committing to a new way of honoring your body, or being called into a higher form of service. With Neptune whisper behind the scenes, he softened the edges. You may be guided to work in healing, spiritual arts, or behind the scenes roles where empathy, vision, and presence are required. Please look out for shift in your health, requiring new routines or deeper care. A call to take your gift seriously, especially those in service to others. Learning to hold boundaries in work that involves compassion or sacrifice. Some sacred practice for you is to make your morning rituals devotional, not just efficient. Examine your work for alignment. Is it draining or nourishing? To consider training or certification in healing modalities if it calls you. Scorpio, you are here to transmute. This we already know, but this time it is not just about drama or death alone. It is about the sacred simplicity of a life well lived. Let your devotion become visible through your service. Dear Sagittarius, this is the creative pilgrimage, the reawakening of joy, romance, and soul expression. This radiant cycle lights up your fifth house, the realm of creativity, romance, joy, and your sacred inner child. Saturn and Neptune arrived here to help you take your dreams seriously and to reimagine what it means to truly express yourself. The fifth house is associated with the sun, the life force, the muse, the divine spark. This is the domain of artists and lovers, where the soul dances freely. But now Saturn asks, what joy are you ready to commit to? What dream longs for a spin, a schedule, or a ritual? Neptune here inspires boundless creativity and deep heart opening. You might feel pulled to express yourself through art, movement, music, or simply through living more romantically and intuitively. Yet, Neptune also brings illusion. Lucky Saturn will demand clarity. Is this love real? Is this creation grounded? Watch out for a creative project asking for real structure and sustained effort. Soulmate connections, both romantic or artistic, that come with a purpose. The healing of the inner child through consistent play and sacred rest. Some sacred practice for you to build a practice around your creativity. Write daily, paint or dance often. Revisit a childhood joy, what delighted you before the world told you to grow up. To practice heart-led presence in your relationships. Lead with devotion, not distraction. My dear Sagittarius, you are the eternal seeker, and now you are being called not to wander, but to create something beautiful where you stand. By 2028, your art, your love, or your story may become a beacon for others walking their own pilgrimage of joy. Dear Capricorn, this is the sacred foundation to rebuilding home and root. This cycle arrives at the base of your chart, the fourth house, the ruler of home, family, ancestral memory, and your inner foundation. Saturn and Neptune will guide you back to your original story, asking you to rewrite it with reverence. The fourth house is the heath. In mythology, this is Hestia's domain, the goddess of the sacred flame, protector of home and soul center. For Capricorn, this transit is a soft but profound reshaping of what security means. Saturn here says, build a true foundation, one that isn't borrowed or performative, but rooted in your real emotional needs. You may take on a new family responsibilities, move homes, or reconstruct your private life. Neptune, meanwhile, dissolves all familiar illusions. It brings forgiveness, yes, but also revelation. You may feel more psychically connected to ancestors, or called to live by water, or simply crave a deeper sense of soul belonging. Watch out for changes or commitments involving housing, property, or caretaking roles. Emotional cleansing around family patterns. Dreams or intuitive nudges pulling you inward to rest and to reconnect. Some sacred practices for you. Create a home altar or ancestral space. Tend to your nervous system, such as breath work, herbal bath, or grounding food. To rewrite your home story, what kind of inner sanctuary are you building? Dear Capricorn, you are the mountain climber, but during this transit, the climb is inward. You are anchoring into a home that doesn't just shelter, but sanctify. By 2028, you may have built not just a house, but a temple of your truest self. My dear Aquarius, this is the mystic message, speaking the truth of your soul. This sacred alignment activates your third house, the realm of communication, perception, language, and local environment. Both Saturn and Neptune here whisper, your word shaped worlds. Are you ready to speak from spirit, not just from mind? The third house belongs to Hermes, the divine messenger, god of thresholds and translation. He moves between realms, bridging opposites. For you, Aquarius, this transit offers the chance to become a spiritual communicator, a transmitter of truth that awakens. Saturn brings structure to your thought and speech. You may be asked to write, teach, or speak in ways that require commitment. You may become the translator of complex ideas, spiritual, technological, or both. With Neptune, he brings poetic language, deep intuition, and at times, confusion as well. Discernment is the key. You must learn to distinguish between divine download and noisy distraction. Watch out for a call to study or share your spiritual or artistic ideas. Shift in way you relate to your siblings or immediate environment. A challenge to speak more clearly, more truthfully, perhaps even publicly. Some sacred practices for you. Keep a voice journal. Record dreams, channelings, or story fragments. Create beauty with language, such as songwriting, poetry, or spiritual essays. Practice conscious speech. Speak as thought your word plant seeds. My dear Aquarius, your brilliance has always lived in the future, but now you are being asked to speak as a mystic of the present moment. Let your words be spells. Let your message be medicine. Dear Pisces, this is the garden of worth, the reclaiming of value and the spirit of simplicity. This deeply personal cycle moves through your second house, the realm of self-worth, values, money, and the resources that support your incarnation. Saturn and Neptune are asking, what do you truly need to feel worthy? And how do you care for what you have been given? The second house is often associated with the myth of Demeter, goddess of grain and the earth's abundance. She reminds us that value is cyclical, sacred, and rooted in nourishment. For Pisces, this transit is a return to the soil of your self-worth. Saturn here invites you to take your material reality seriously. You may need to reorganize your finances, claim more responsibility for your earnings, or confront any spiritual bypassing around money. He is saying you deserve to thrive, but not without effort and clarity. Neptune, your ruling planet, will be here for years, inspiring idealism and creative gift, but also at times bring confusion and drifting around. Now Saturn grants those visions. Dreams can become income. Longings can find form. Looking for a deep reckoning with your values and what you truly want to invest in. Opportunities to monetize or stabilize your creative or healing gift. Shedding illusions around self-worth, especially linked to productivity. Some sacred practices for you. To create a beautiful ritual that honor your body as sacred resource. Simplify your space. What stays must reflect your future self, and practice gratitude for what is already enough. Pisces, your sensitivity is your wealth. This transit reminds you that your dreams deserve containers, that your presence is valuable, and that simplicity is not lack, it is liberation. By 2028, you will find that your entire sense of worth has rooted itself in something eternal and quietly magnificent. Thank you everyone for listening. Please like, subscribe, and contact me if you would like a personal reading with me. Thank you for being here. Genevieve.